Hi, I'm Nalina and I'm curator at the Indian Heritage Centre in Singapore. The Indian Heritage Centre was a project that was conceived of in 2008 and announced to public in January 2009. However, this project is something that many people had from the 80s thought of, suggested, because they felt like there was a need for a space that would express Singapore's Indian heritage and would also preserve it. This project is one that started off long before it was launched in 2015 as part of the SG50 celebrations in Singapore. So this Heritage Centre is one that is the culmination of work that has been done together by professionals, consultants, and of course members of the community. You'll find that this is a very unique model where co-creation has been pushed to the fore in terms of decision making during the development phase, as well as in terms of how the content itself was developed for the exhibition, the permanent exhibition to be very specific. So when we were planning the permanent exhibition, we actually conducted a series of dialogue sessions with about 56 Indian organizations to ask them what they thought of the storyline we had developed, and also to ask them to act as our networks that would help us reach out to members of the public, members of the community who would at that time definitely have kept some aspects of their heritage preserved. About 50% of what you see in our permanent exhibition, for instance, is the contribution of Singapore's Indian community. We don't have visual material, but we'd like to work with artists of diasporic roots to help us fill through contemporary mediums the gaps in our stories. 2016, we worked with Navindra Wanchakul, who is an artist of Thai Indian roots, who actually created a work that was a very large billboard style painting that was inspired by Singapore's Little India, and he called it Passage to Little India. Or for the fact that we've worked with Singaporean artist Nadia Alsagoff, who last year created a number of portraits of the Chitty Malacca community, juxtaposing past pioneers with those who are present, creating moments that were in reality never possible, and therefore making it even more appealing and nostalgic. Now the building facade is actually inspired by a bauli or a stepped well. Now typically, the stepped well is a very important place of communal gathering because water is such an important life source. Now in that sense, we hope that similarly we act as a place that brings together Singapore's Indian communities and also brings together people who are interested in understanding more about Singapore's Indian heritage. We're really a museum that is looking at pan-Indian diasporic communities, which is not something that we find an exact parallel for anywhere around the world. When we launched it in 2015, we were the first to incorporate augmented reality into our permanent exhibition experience. Now we're an intimate museum. We wanted people to enjoy the experience, but at the same time we were concerned about things like, would people touch? Novelty in terms of digital applications was definitely a way we wanted to reach out to younger audiences, and we did this not by creating these as separate platforms but by trying to incorporate it into the handphone culture. So we created selfie pit stops in the exhibition. We created places where we wanted people to take photographs and Instagram tag us, etc. So that way, to leave a digital footprint even of their visit to IHC the same way they were doing in other places. When we say Indian Heritage Centre, we're talking about a centre that's dedicated towards preserving and showcasing the lesser known aspects of Singapore's own Indian heritage, but within the larger context of Southeast Asia.